obviously not the first rodeo. This is, so how many places have you shown this so far?
This is our second film festival right now. Second showing at this festival. So a total of 3 audiences have seen this film so far, and all 3 have visited us. Positive. You guys liked it. Fabulous.
So tell us a little bit about your background. Have you done documentaries before, or tell us about your background?
Well, I've been in the industry for a little over a decade, in different aspects of film. And I've shot and directed 1 feature film before this, produced another, and this would be kind of my 3rd one anyway. And Imagining Pictures, who brought me on board this project, it has done multiple films themselves in different genres as well. I mean, particularly, yeah, I've just been doing a lot of stuff in from production to post, all sorts of stuff.
Who wrote the film for you?
I wrote the film, and no, but it wasn't me alone. I mean, as far as story goes, it was a lot of brainstorming with Imagining Pictures team, Daniel and Shirley, and us. Just put our heads together and talked a lot about the story, the characters, where we want to go with certain things, and yeah. You want to add something to this?
Yeah. The original story and the concept was a much simpler story, and then when we brought Prince on board, I don't know if you've seen the film. Prisoners. Prisoners. We kind of had this idea of bringing a whole other storyline, like a dual storyline, and that's where Detective Finney character came in. So we really loved the idea about having those 2 storylines and 2 leads, and we found somebody in Scout who did such an amazing job. So that's kind of how it happened organically.
Any other questions?
I love the music. Music was awesome.
Thank you. We Ramin Kusha is the composer. I don't know if you saw his credit up there, but he did a wonderful job. Thank you. We'll let him know.
Do you have something in the plans now?
For this film or in general? Well, this film, I'll let producer talk about this film's plans, and then I'll share.
For the time being, we are definitely enjoying taking this film out to all the festivals that we get accepted to, showing it to all the, to local residents in different towns. And so for this coming year in 2018, that is our plan. We plan to, we're still waiting to hear back from a few festivals, and we're planning to submit to a couple of more. We're just gonna definitely exhaust all of that first before we talk to any of distributors and buyers that have been email blasting both Prince and I since we finished filming. They just have seen little clips and glimpses of the trailer, which is available online. You can show your friends and family. It looks amazing, just like the movie that you just saw, and people are literally banging down our doors. They want to show our film, but we just want to show it to you guys first, and before we make any decisions on how we want to distribute the film. So that's where we're at on this film. And then as far as the company Imagining Pictures, we are planning to shoot another movie. We don't know which one yet, but we're planning to shoot another movie before the end of this year. And then for Prince,
I have a few projects in development, most of which I can't talk about because sometimes films get stuck in development hell and they don't get made. So whichever comes first and whichever one I'm passionate about, I'll go ahead and do it.
Your casting was phenomenal. Can you talk about that a little?
Absolutely. So we started with a small cast, of course, Daniel being one of them, and his best friend, Michael Spady, who's he's really deaf in real life. So we wanted to bring a deaf character more prominence in the film, especially a film of this scale. And so we had them 2 attached, and we also had Michael Urie and Ryan Spahn. Michael Urie's from Ugly Betty. And we wanted to bring them on board. They've worked with Imagining Pictures team before, 3 films. Yeah. So we had pretty much like, five cast members already in place, and then eventually we expanded on that and just wanted to bring authenticity to the role. So we brought in a lot of military guys to play the real military characters. What else? We brought in Betty Gabriel, who was in a lot of horror. Scout. Out of all. Scout, like Daniel said, you know, we wanted the detective character to be very similar to certain other characters that we've seen on screen, and very dark, and we wanted a strong female character, and kind of underestimated female character, and we wanted her to be kind of the hero, almost as equivalent as the lead actor. So yeah, so that's kind of where our casting was. Do you want to add anything to that, Scout?
No, originally they wrote it for a man, so I'm very, very humble that they saw that I could bring on like a really strong female power to the role.
Yeah, we did originally write it for 2 male leads, and when we decided to hire Scout for the role, we were so confident that she could do it. We didn't rewrite anything. We didn't change anything in the script. She just literally took on that role as it was written on the page. And we get a lot of questions about diversity on the casting and whether it was intentional or anything like that, because you do, I guess for a lot of people, they see our movie and that's what they see. But for us, I mean, as far as myself, at least, I can only speak for, it wasn't anything intentional, because that's just who we know, that's just who we are. These are people that we either have known in the past, or when we were casting, it just made sense for us. Trinity Valenzuela, this was her breakout role for her. She was the little girl that played Eden. Her parents are biracial. One of them is white, the other one's Mexican. And then we have a half Italian, half Korean father. And the mother that was played by another American actress, but you know what, it works. Yeah.
Just a question, maybe minor detail. Being in the film, you do not have these 8 soldiers in Humvees. You've got them in my station wagon, okay? Any particular reason for that?
There was a little bit more to that. I wrote out a longer scene where they're transporting confidential goods. So we originally had a larger convoy where the center, the larger truck, which ends up being the rear truck in the film, that was in the center, and that truck explodes. And then these other guys who are kind of in a way undercover, so they're kind of more like, I don't know if you've seen the 13 Hours to Benghazi, those types of films that Michael Bay directed. It's similar tone where they're supposed to be undercover, but they're not. But they do these secret special ops missions and whatnot, so they don't take military vehicles to those missions. And that was kind of the idea we had for it, but unfortunately we had to tone it down, kind of, condense the whole scene, and ended up with 2 vehicles. And actually, if you look closely, some of those vehicles are not even the same color.
And please keep in mind, this is an independent film, so we did try to do the best that we could with availability of what they could offer us at the time, in our schedule, and there's so many factors that go into it, in trying to do these scenes. I mean, if we had millions of dollars, we could just go any place we wanted, just.
You made it look like you spent millions.
That was the intention, so, thank you so much for that compliment.
Well, the acting was superb, you guys. It was phenomenal. Loved it. The casting, the diverse casting, how it just came out. It worked. It was wonderful. And how much did it cost?
It's a big secret.
Well, we did, it's a low budget independent film, so we spent under $1 million.
Whoa.
Between 0 and $1 million.
We won't say which end of the spectrum.
It was just barely enough. I'll say that.
It always is, just barely.
So I'm a fan of like Lee Child, Jack Reacher, revenge, military kind of thrillers, and I did not know when I came in to see this, so I enjoyed it very much. My question is just sort of detail at the end. I mean, I was kind of hoping he'd blow the guy away. And was there any specific thinking that went into that not happening?
Good question, thank you. No, we do have alternate endings where he comes in with a machine.
How many wanted him to get blown away?
Oh, we got this half, not the other half. So it's a split. I'll let Daniel answer this one.
You got a sequel coming up.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a really great question. We've had people from the first screening actually kind of say the opposite side of that. Say, you know, it was really cool how you kind of didn't do the expected, and but it was very intentional, you know. So when we were discussing it and writing that scene, we just kind of thought in that way, when he gives him a warning, the thought of him having to look over his shoulder for the rest of his life would actually be more pain and cause him more stress, so to speak, as opposed to just kind of, blowing them all away and ending the film that way. So yeah, that was very specific, and it was thought out. Obviously, every decision is a risk. You know, some people may see it one way, and other people take it a different way. But overall, in context of the whole film, I mean, we were really proud of it and think it works really well in that way. So yeah, that's kind of where that came from.
Well, I was thinking too that the detectives wouldn't necessarily just completely 100% drop the ball. They found her, but obviously there may be some connections or evidence there or trails, and so who knows.
Yeah.
You certainly engaged us.
And yeah, there are story elements that could possibly turn into a sequel. But who knows?
So you did. You engaged us, you thrilled us, you entertained us. You had me holding my breath, and I've seen it before.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for seeing this thing. I appreciate it.
A quick question, I don't know the business, but for me, I look at this and I see the possibilities of a television series. Now, when you're doing this, would you prefer to have this on the big screen? What's, in today's business, which is more ideal to do these wonderful series that are going on television, or to do something on the big screen?
Well, me personally, I would rather see it theatrically, other than, everyone's phones or iPads or what have you, smaller screen. But that's me as a creative. From the business side, it might be a different thing. And then Scout is on TV right now, so maybe she could add something to that.
I'd love a series.
I think from an actor's point of view, they prefer a series.
I want to see where Finney goes. Faces. Same man. This is great.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe they join forces.
Oh.
That's not
Hello.
bad.
I would just say with a cast that strong, it would just be a TV series hit. Totally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say that I really was glad that Eden was safe, that nothing had happened to her, and that was done in such good taste as far as her kidnapping and everything. And there's so much in our world. It was children being abducted and the hurtful things that are being done to them. I'm so glad that was not your focus. I'm so glad that she was protected. She came out smiling and, was reunited again with her dad. That was so tastefully done. I was really glad that happened.
Yeah.
Not tears, but yes, it was
Thank
very
you.
good.
Yeah, it was not our intention that anything malicious
Exactly.
would happen to her. She just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, so.
There's one right here. Question.
And then one real quick thing I want to add to hers is that, bringing like real life elements to the film was also important too, just like kind of like technology, like technology is a double-edged sword for us. And sometimes we're on our phones, we're not talking to somebody, especially us young people. But other times it's beneficial in that sense where it could help us in certain situations where we have no.
Why the what?
The snail.
The snail. When I was a young child, I didn't like squashing snails. That little crunching sound when you squish the snails. I was just like Eden basically. I wrote Eden just like me, where I used to pick up the snails and put them aside so they don't get killed, basically. So it just became a thing, and the snail became kind of like that little symbol to finding her.
Do you have a bracelet?
I don't.
And
give my daughter one.
And just as the final comment for the snail thing, so he wrote it into the script, and he wouldn't tell me why. I was like, why a snail? And he wouldn't tell me. He's just like, there's a reason. And I was like, okay, but do you know how hard it is for me to go out and look for like props that look like snails? Like he's like written in the script, like, oh, he gives her a snail bracelet. I'm like, Prince, we're shooting in a week. I can't like order this snail bracelet and ship it. Like it's gonna be so he had me going around town, going to all the arts and crafts stores. We don't have as much bead stores in LA as we do out here in Arizona. But if we did, it would have been easy. But I was like, oh my God, where am I gonna find snails?
Not only that, but so she ended up making the snail bracelet. Yeah, 2 of them. Matching, yeah.
At 3 in the morning.
But then the other difficult part was finding the real snails because we're like shooting at the end of summer or what, I think it was at the end of summer. So there's no snails anywhere. It's not raining in LA, so usually they come out after. So she's like, where do I find a real snail? They don't sell snails. We can't drop ship them or something.
They won't ship snails. If you guys are curious, there's like a rule against shipping snails.
Yeah. You guys are curious.
Trust me, I've learned a lot about them.
We found some fake ones that looked very authentic. So we got glimpses of that, and we just kind of utilized that.
Hello?
Yeah.
I tied the snail into the race.
Oh, that's great.
We're gonna
That's
use
good.
that next time.
There's actually a speeding snail in her bedroom. There's a poster of that in the background. So yeah, that's interesting comment. Thank you.
You've been amazing. You've been a wonderful audience.
Thank you guys.
Much success to you.
I was